Oh, great.
On Facebook, I'm going to I press record, which is something that I sometimes forget. Shall I leave you live today? So if you want to shout anything out, unless it gets too noisy, then I'll jump up and I'll mute. But it's just you two that's on here. And if you want to ask me anything while we're in the lesson, okay, right. So we're coming straight down onto the mat this morning.
Yeah, I haven't got a ball. Is that going to be all right?
No, that's fine. We're not to balls yet. I'll do balls in a couple of weeks. Mine's from last night.
Cool.
So come all the way down to the mat. Ooh, let's have an hour's relaxation. No, I promise we're not. I promise it. Okay, right. So when you're on the mat, feet hip distance apart. Make sure those hips are level on the mat. I find sometimes I'm raising one side more than the other. Now, lift yourself up and make sure your spine is nice and long along the mat. So as we do when we're standing up, we're creating a gap between the top of the hips and the bottom of the rib cage. Now moving up to the rib cage, check that that's level on the mat and your shoulder blades are level on the mat. I know it sounds simple, but if your alignment's out, you know, you can really tell when we are in this position. So it's a lovely place to be to check how your body is today. So connect to that mat. Now put your hands onto your tummy. What I want you to do is to relax your abdominal muscles. So the same way we're doing the Pilates breath standing up, we'll do it here. And sometimes people find this easier. So relax all these tummy muscles, shoulders away from the ears, nice and long through the neck. Now breathing in through the nose, push the air to the bottom of the rib cage. Feel that rib cage expand, and then you should feel the tummy expand as the diaphragm lowers. Okay, now as you exhale, feel that tummy retract. Okay, let's do that again. Breathing in through the nose, pushing that air down to the bottom of the lungs. Feel that rib cage expand. It should take a bit of practice, and at the same time, you should feel that tummy expand. And exhale. So this time we're going to use it to recruit the core muscles. So breathing in through the nose, air to the bottom, feel that tummy expand. Now as you exhale, feel the tummy naturally retract and then start to draw up to your pelvic floor and to your backside basically. So those muscles, those sling muscles, don't snatch it, draw them up and relax. Let's do one more of those. Breathing in through the nose, expand the lungs, feel that tummy expand, and as you exhale, feel the tummy retract. Now draw up through the pelvic floor, and you should feel that connection with the core. If you're an absolute beginner, it'll take a while, and relax. Okay, hands onto your tummy. We're going to start with the clock. So this is about mobility through the hips. So thumbs towards the tummy button, fingers towards the pubic bone, shoulders away from the ears. Imagine you've got a marble in the middle of your tummy and you're going to roll the marble towards your tummy button, so towards 12 o'clock, and then roll the marble towards 6 o'clock. Now we're stiff at the moment, so we won't move too far. Try and keep the knees still. This is starting our warm up. So just gentle movements, don't force anything. Again, just check that spine is nice and long along the mat. And just start to get some movement going. I find by putting your hands in the area we're working on, it does help you connect a little bit more. If you want to, you can start to just make that movement a little bit bigger, push through the heels, and just gently lift the bottom off the floor. Not too high yet, as I say, we're a bit too stiff for that. Okay, now settle out in the middle, so balance the marble in the middle of the clock face. Now just put your hands behind your back. So you should have a gap between your back and the mat. And this is neutral spine, so just remember this position. Okay, hands back onto the clock. Now we're going to roll the marble from 3 o'clock side to 6 o'clock. No, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, so you can tell the time this morning. 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So it's a sideways tilt. So you're lifting up one hip and then the other side. Now try and keep those knees still. If you are stiff in your lower back, you won't move very much at all, but it will come with practice. If you get any lower back problems, this is a really good one to do, and even do before you get out of bed in the morning, just to get things moving. If you want to, you can start to raise that hip a little bit more if you're feeling mobile enough. Okay, now come to rest, come to the middle. Now we're going to take the marble all the way around the clock face. We're going to do circles with the hips. So roll the marble towards 12 o'clock and then all the way around the clock face. Might not be circles at the moment, might feel a bit like squares, but don't worry about that. Just check you're not tensing or gritting in the neck. Take those shoulders away from the ears. Okay, now change direction. And then come back to rest, back to that neutral spine. Okay, float your arms above your chest, palms facing inwards, and we're going to start with marching arms. So one arm back, one arm towards your hip, and then change. So as you're taking your arm back, if you feel that you're raising your chest up, so you're flaring through the chest or the rib cage is coming off the floor at the back, don't take the arms so far, because you're not working through the shoulder, you're then working, you're raising your spine to get that arm up and over. Nice and long through the neck, hips stay level on the mat, and just warming up through those shoulders. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, arms back above your chest. We're going to do opposite arm and leg. So my left arm's going back and my right leg is sliding along the mat, extending away and then drawing back in. So starting to work through the core, mobilizing through the shoulders and the hips. Now keep the hips level as you do this. So you shouldn't be rocking from side to side, and the same with the shoulders. So it's hip stability and shoulder stability, and also mobility in those joints. Still got a neutral spine. Really extend away and come back. So some of these moves look very simple, but they're really important. And with Pilates, it's a lot of small muscles that we're trying to engage, and the big ones sort of happen naturally. Nice and long through the neck, keep that chin off the chest. Okay. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to the center. Keep those arms above the chest. We're going to do shoulder reaches. Nice and long through the neck. So reach up towards the ceiling. So my shoulders are coming off the mat, and then drop them back towards the mat. If you are stiff in this area, it might seem a bit confusing to start with. Nice and long through the neck. So it's mobility through the shoulder girdle, but you're also strengthening through the chest. Nice simple warm-up exercise. Three, 2, and 1. Again, we're just going to work through the arms. Take the arms to the floor in a cactus position or the sign of 4. Float the arms off the mat. You might be able to get them all the way down here, but not everybody will. So float them off, but you're opening out through the chest, nice and long through the neck. And it's just a small movement, raising and lowering, which you can see here. So it looks a really easy movement. If you've got any shoulder issues, this is a lovely release. And just feel what's happening to those shoulder blades at the back as they're coming up and down your rib cage. You can do this one standing up as well, but it is always lovely when you're lying on the mat. So many of us, if you're hunched over a desk or you drive a lot, you're very sort of rounded through the back, top of your spine, and the muscles at the front of your chest can be quite weak. So this is a really lovely one to do. Check those shoulder blades are level on the mat behind. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, take those arms out to the side for some stability. And what we're going to do, we're going to do hip drops from side to side. Now, slowly lower the knees to one side, head and chest towards the ceiling. Now, we're still a bit cold, so don't push it. And then up and over to the other side. Now, to bring your knees up and over, use the core. So draw up to the pelvic floor so you're not pulling on your spine. So I'm breathing in at the top of the move. I'm breathing out as I lower. Breathing in. And as I breathe out, drawing up to the pelvic floor, engaging the core and over to the other side. So in Pilates, you can use your breath to dictate the speed of a move and to recruit the muscles. When you're advanced, you don't need to think about that. You'll do it naturally. But to stop, and don't let the breath confuse you at this stage. What I mean, if it's pulling on your back, then you use your back and probably your abs and not those deep core muscles. So you've got some nice rotation through the hips and some rotation through the top half of the spine. Keep that gaze towards the ceiling, head and shoulders on the mat. Okay, let's just quicken this up a little bit, just to warm up a little bit more. So when we do this, when we're stretching, we're sort of pushing the knees towards the floor, but at this stage, I just want some movement in the hips. Again, this is a lovely one to do in the morning, just to get your body moving. And if you've got any lower back pain, this can give lovely relief. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to the center. Okay, plant those feet firmly on the ground. Take your hands to the side of your hips. We're actually going to come up to shoulder bridges. So we're going to go back to those hip tilts that we were doing to start with, but then we're going to raise up. But we're going to do flowing ones to start with. So not fully up to the shoulder bridge. So we call spine rolls. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, so you're connecting with that core, tip that pelvis towards 12 o'clock, push through the heels, squeeze the glutes, peel the spine off the mat and raise the hips up. And then straight away come back down to rest. Back to that neutral spine. Breath in, breathe out as you tip the pelvis, push through the heels, squeeze the glutes, raise the hips. You want to just put your hands onto your hips to check the level and all the way back down. If it helps, keep your hands onto your hips. I've got my elbows on the floor and up. If you're feeling any pressure in your neck, drop the chest down. And again, so just warming up through the spine, warming up the glutes. And 4 more. 4 more of these quick ones, and then we'll go into full shoulder bridge. 3, 2, and the last one. And then all the way down to the mat. Now just quickly bring one knee into your chest, and then the second one, and just hug those knees in and rock from side to side. Again, a lovely release for anybody with lower back problems. Okay, take one foot to the floor and then the other. Float those hands above your chest as we did in the warm-up. Make sure the shoulders are level on the mat and the hips are level as well. We're going to come back into that shoulder bridge, but we're going to hold it longer. So breath in to start, and as you breathe out, tip that pelvis towards 12 o'clock and raise up to a full shoulder bridge. So your knees, hips and shoulders should be in line. Don't worry if they're not at this stage. Keep that chest down so there's no pressure on the neck. Hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then slowly all the way back down to the mat. Keep the arms above the chest. Let's go again. Breath in. And as you breathe out, tipping towards 12. Again, healing that spine. If you've got real lower back problems, sometimes it helps to do a straight lift and not a curl. Drop the chest down, hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly all the way back down. Okay, and up again. Breath in, breathe out, tipping that pelvis, push through the heels, and raise up. Okay, this time hold it here, and the marching arms we did in the warm-up, marching arms again. So one arm back, one arm towards the mat, squeeze those glutes, keep those hips nice and high. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, float those arms back up above the chest, and slowly all the way back to the mat. Let's go again, breath in, breathe out, tipping the pelvis, curling up, all the way up, hold it here. Let's go marching arms again. So while we're creating this movement, we just keep the rest of the body as still as we can. We've got some good shoulder stability and hip stability. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms above the chest and all the way down to the mat. Okay, right. Hands to the floor. As you raise up to the bridge this time, press your hands into the floor so you've got some connection in your arms. And we're just going to do some squeezes while we're there. Breath in, some pulses, that's the word. Breath in, breathe out, tipping that pelvis, peeling off the mat, raising up. Now get that position right first. If you want to, take your hands, put them onto your hips to check their level and hold it there. And then we're going to pulse for 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly lower all the way to the mat. Okay, one knee into your chest, bring the second one and hug those knees. Just stay in that position a moment, just double check. Okay, stay down. Okay, slowly lower those feet towards the floor. Okay, check those hips are level on the mat. Again, nice and long through the spine and through the neck, and shoulders are level. Now, for those, I am going back to basics, but what I want you to do is raise one leg up to 90 degrees, lower, and then raise the other. But even if you're advanced, what I want you to do is check what happens to your hips when you do this. Okay, try and keep those hips level and the weight evenly distributed on the mat. The same with the shoulders. Sometimes even when you've done a lot of Pilates or a lot of classes, you forget that basic alignment. So it's always good to go back to these beginning exercises. Okay. Right, okay, put your hands onto your tummy. Raise one leg to 90 degrees. Now, raise the other to join it into tabletop. And just feel what happens here. If you get a real doming through your tummy, that means your abs are kicked in and not your core muscles. And while you're here, just check that you've got that gap between your back and the mat. Okay, take those down again, do that again. Now, I worked with a PT that literally could not do this without her abs kicking in because her abs were so strong. Let's go again, one leg up and the other one to join it. Okay, so knees, legs at 90 degrees. If you struggle in this position, if you bring your knees towards your chest, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, the further away, the harder it is. Now, hands to the side, we're going to come into toe taps. alternate toe taps towards the floor. If you're an absolute beginner, what I want you to do is just raise this here. More advanced, toe taps. So it's a hinge from the hips, back, and everything else stays still. So it's not, you know, the whole back moving. Okay. The further you tap away, the harder it is. A little bit more of a challenge. You can float the arms above your chest. Check that it's not pulling on your back. If it's pulling on your back, it's your core may not be strong enough, or we haven't quite woken those muscles up yet. Might be a little bit dormant. Okay, now from here, you can do opposite arm to leg, as we did in the warm-up, but obviously a little bit more advanced, leaning 90 degrees. Check your alignment on the mat. Really good for your body awareness to connect with what's happening when you're doing these moves. If you want a little bit more advanced, you can extend that leg away and bring in. Always challenge yourself, but what I'm more concerned is, what I'm looking for is you maintaining that alignment. So if you find the alignment really moves when you're doing this, or you're really straining or can't breathe, go back to the toe taps. Four, three, two, and one. Okay, back to 90 degrees. Slowly lower one foot down, and then the other. Well done, everybody. Okay. Extend one leg away and take one leg up to 90 degrees. Take your arms out to the side. Make sure those hips are level on the mat for this one. Now we're going to do knee circles. So, as you take a breath in, bring the knee across your body. As you exhale, so you always draw up on the exhale. So, you exhale on the exertion. So we're going to draw a circle. But imagine you drawing the circle with your thigh bone, not with your knee. So if you do it with your knee, it tends to work. You've got to imagine that you're drawing a circle with your thigh bone. So it's coming across your body and then away. Now keep those hips both on the mat. If you're rocking or raising one, just make a smaller circle. So we're working through that hip. We're working through the core as well. You feel the obliques kicking in as you're doing this move. Keep that gaze towards the ceiling and head and shoulders on the mat. If it's more advanced in the class, you can actually do this with a straight leg. But again, I want you to check your alignment. And sticking with the bent knee, absolutely fine. Just try and improve your alignment every time you're doing it. You should feel into that hip flexor, mobility into that hip joint. Feel those abs and core kicking in as well. Now change direction. Find it much harder one way or the other. So Pilates, one of the founding principles was concentration. And what that means is you concentrating and connecting with your body and what's happening. Okay, two more. We'll talk about noises, Lisa. My hip's making horrible noise this morning. And extend that leg away, bring the other leg up to tabletop. Okay, check those hips are level before you start, shoulders are level on the mat, nice and long through the neck. As you breathe in, bring the knee across your body, and as it's coming away from your body, as you're drawing that circle, exhale and draw it to the pelvic floor to connect with that core. Hips stay as level as they can, both butt cheeks stay onto the mat. Imagine you drawing the circle with your thigh bone and not with your knee. If you want to, you can start to do this with a straight leg. Again, check that alignment. Try not to grip on the floor with your neck or with your hands. one more in this direction. And then change direction. You use that breath to recruit the correct muscles, and also it dictates the speed of your move. 2 more. And the last one. Okay. Okay, bring both feet up towards your bottom. Make sure they're hip distance apart. Come on to one pointed toe. Just raise onto the toe with one leg. And we're going to do knee drops to the sides, which is one knee coming out to the side and back to the center. We're going for 10 on each side. Again, keeping those hips level. Keep the supporting foot. Push it into the ground. Really connect with the mat. Only go as far as you can without your alignment being compromised. Again, take those arms nice and wide for some stability. So we're working into the abs. You should feel it connecting into that inner thigh as well. Working again into that hip. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, change sides again. Just come onto your tiptoes on that one foot, firmly plant the other. Slowly lower the knee out to the side so you open out through the hip. Keep the supporting leg still. And keep both butt cheeks on the mat. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, lovely. Okay, bring your knees into your chest one at a time. Take your hands behind your thighs and rock yourself up to sitting. Sitting like that hand a little bit. Okay, all the way up, sitting nice and tall. Extend those legs in front of you onto your sitting bones and make sure they're the bony parts of your bottom. Make sure you're nice and level on the mat. I'm just going to float these arms forward and we're just going for a forward stretch. Now, if you're really short in your hamstrings, just bend those knees. What I want you to do, imagine there's a big ball here, so you're reaching up and over the ball. It's a hinge from the hip, so it's not a move here. Nice and long through the neck, reaching forward and back. Relax through those feet. Don't worry if you don't go very far. Some people think they're stiff in the hamstrings here, but sometimes it's that lower back. Just going for 2 more. And the last one. And release. Okay. Feet onto the floor. Just for beginners, can you just put your hands behind your thigh? And this is where in the coming weeks we'll use the Pilates balls. So nice and tall onto your sitting bones, grow nice and tall through your spine, and then you're going to C-curl. So you're going to come off the sitting bones, curl that spine, keep the chin away from the chest and just roll back. And then back up to sitting. So if you're an absolute beginner, stick with this one, just get used to that movement. So your abs are kicking in, using your hip flexors as well. If you're more advanced, sitting here, and I just want you to float back, and then back up. Always come back onto those sitting bones, get that alignment correct. Nice and long through the neck, chin away from the chest, rolling back, and back up. So we're mobilizing that lower spine, we're strengthening the abs. Don't forget to breathe, so I'm breathing in at the top of the move, and as I breathe out, connecting with my core, and then slowly coming back up. Slower is always stronger. too much in your hip flexors, you can do this with straight legs. Or if you have a problem with your psoas muscle, I've got a couple of clients with a problem there, it's actually better for them with straight legs. Try both ways. And over 3 more. 3, 2, and the last one. And release. Okay, for the next move, it's called rolling like a ball. Just move around a little bit. Make sure you've got enough space. If you're a bit concerned, just watch this move before you try it. And if you are a bit concerned or you really are, have injuries already, just stick to this move for the moment. But what I want you to do is roll it like a ball. So toes onto the mat, onto the sitting bones, then you're going to C-curl, hands behind your thighs. And you're going to roll, as you would have done as a child, onto your shoulders and back up. So it looks easy, but it's amazing how many people do struggle with this one. So start onto your sitting bones, C-curl, shoulders away from the ears, roll onto the shoulders and back up. So what you've got to do is maintain that C position. Now, if you're somebody, I've got a couple of clients that come and literally stop here, you can either swing yourself back up, or if you really do struggle, roll onto your side and push yourself up and try again. Make sure you've got enough space. You don't need that chin on the chest, but you don't want to put that head back either, so you'll maintain that position. So you're strengthening as well as mobilizing through the spine. There's lots of add-ons to this. If you can get up to 2 shoulders, brilliant. Try not to flick with your legs to come back up. If you can, put your hands on the front of your shins. Just stop you doing that. Or slightly more advanced, you can cross your legs and hold onto your ankles. If you can, when you come back to your sitting bones, keep your feet off the floor. I'm giving you lots of progressions here, but if you are really struggling, either stick to the rollbacks that we started here, or you can just roll all the way down and then push yourself, come onto the side and push yourself up. Okay, let's go for 5 more of these. I just find I could roll on one side of my back and not the other. That's where I started. Try and keep your feet off the ground onto the sitting bones. Make sure you C-curl. You can get onto your shoulders, brilliant. The original Pilates exercise of this is pretty horrific. We don't very rarely do the full move. Okay, 2 more. And the last one. And all the way up. Lovely. Extend those legs away again. Come to this nice sitting position. So stack everything above those sitting bones. Shoulders away from the ears. Float those arms forward again. And we're going to come all the way down to the mat. So we're going to do that C-curl. But we're going to come all the way as slowly and controlled as you can. Put some tension into your legs so they don't raise up. All the way down. Slowly take those arms up over the head into a full body stretch. So reach away with the fingers, reach away with the toes. Create some space between all your joints. Oh, it feels good. Fantastic. And then very slowly bring your arms down to the side and your feet to your bottom. I've done this one before. Hands onto your thigh. We're going to C-curl, head and shoulders off the mat. Now again, if you've got neck issues, you can cradle your head into your hands. But start with your hands onto your thighs. Breath in, and as you breathe out, sliding your hands up towards your knees, chin away from the chest. Take your gaze forward and upwards, and slowly back down. So again, we're working through the abs. And do it. Take your elbows wide if you've got your head into your hands, and slowly lower. So check your alignment in this position, that those hips are level on the mat. And the shoulders, as you come back to the mat, are also level. Use that breath, breathing in on the mat, breathing out as you're curling up. Keep the chin away from the chest, and slowly back down. So pull on the neck. If you've got your hands behind your head, it should be just cradled into those hands. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Okay, now we're going to do the same move, but it's working the obliques, so we're coming across. So shoulders going towards the opposite knee, so keep one shoulder on the floor, raise the other one up, so you get a rotation, but it's not a knee, an elbow coming across, and then slowly back down. Keep those hips on the mat, and then knees in line with the hips and the feet, and round to the other side, and slowly back down, elbows really wide. So it's as if my shoulders coming towards the opposite knee. Use that breath in, breathe out on the exertion, and slowly lower down. So it's one shoulder on the mat, and the other's raising up. Okay, right, on the next one, what we're going to do is bring that knee in, so opposite knee to shoulder. So raise that knee and slowly lower. When you lower, make sure everything's level on the mat before you go to the other side. And lower again. So more working into the obliques, working into the shoulders, working into the abs, and now mobilizing through the hips as well. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, lovely. Okay, have one knee into your chest, extend the other leg along the mat. Hold it there. Okay. Hands, opposite hand to knee. Take this knee across the body. And just gently push it towards the floor. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, relax and just feel it going a bit closer, keeping your shoulders on the mat. And release. Change legs, so hug that knee into your chest. Opposite hand to knee, other hand out to the side, take it up and over. Breath in, and as you breathe out, relax, take it a little bit closer. And release. Okay, bring those knees up towards your chest, hand behind your side, and rock yourself up. Come round onto your knees, all the way up. Okay, we're just going to finish off with some stretches, because once again, I run out of time, get all excited. Okay, one leg forward. If you need to put your hands on the floor, you can. But what I'm looking for is your hips facing forward and gently take your weight forward. And keep this chest up, so it's not here. It's shifting the weight from your hips, so feel that stretch. Hold it there. Okay, opposite. You can rotate towards that bent leg and reach up towards the ceiling. You should still be able to see fingers if you give them a little bit of a wriggle. You've got some mobility through the top half of the spine and through the hips. Okay, 2 hands towards the mat and extend that front leg very slowly. If you've got sciatica, don't do this one. Don't straighten the leg. Just get a little bit of stretch with a bent leg. If you can, straighten that leg and raise the toe, dropping the chest towards the knee. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings. And release. Come back to the knees and change sides. So 1 foot forward, hips facing forward. Take that weight forward, keep this chest up. Opposite hand to foot onto the floor. Rotate towards that bent leg and reach up towards the ceiling. 2 hands towards the mat. Extend this front leg. Dropping the chest and the nose towards the knee. And if you can, raise the toes up, feel that extra stretch. And release. Okay, come onto your bottoms. Hands behind your back. Take your feet, I won't come straight to the camera, take your feet really wide here. Now stay connected through the shoulders so you're not sinking. And we're just going to do these are called knee walks. So knees from side to side. Lovely release through the hips. So this is the beginner stage for this. Slightly more advanced. Come onto your sitting bones, arms and sides, a little bit more balance and mobility involved. You will find yourself walking forward. Again, it's a lovely one through those hips. Nice and open through the chest. Pushing those knees down towards the floor. I'll be in the next room at this level. That'd be great. I'll come back. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, back to those sitting bones. Put the feet together. Hands onto your feet, and now drop your knees out to the side. And if you can, take your weight forward a little bit. So hold on to your feet, just gently pull yourself forward. Feel that stretch in the inner side. Drop your head down as well. Relax through the neck, shoulders away from the ears. And release. Okay, sit into cross legs for me. On your awkward side, so we've all got a favourite side, try it on your awkward side, onto those sitting bones. I'm just coming for a nice side stretch. Hand to the side, reach up first, up and over, bend this arm on the floor, and then come back to the centre, and up and over to the other side. Feel that through the obliques. Okay, from side to side. So not forwards here, really open out through the chest. One of my favourite stretches. Make sure those sitting bones are on the floor. If you struggle in this position, you can put a cushion underneath your bottom or a yoga block. Okay. 3, 2, and 1. And release. I watch my time again. Okay, really quickly. We're just going to work through the neck. So sitting nice and tall, hands onto your knees, and what we're just going to do is rotate the head over one shoulder and back to the centre and round to the other side and back to the centre. Okay, one more each side. Back to the centre and round to the other side. And back to the centre. Okay, now drop that chin to the chest. Let the weight of the head come forward and feel that stretch to the back of the neck. And slowly rotate the head so you're taking the ear towards the shoulder, chin's coming forward, and then round to the other side. So if you're able, you can do full head circles here. I do find quite a few people have got problems with their neck, so this is the safest exercise to do for this. So keep the shoulders down, the rest of the body is still. Let's just go for one more each side. So a nice release through the top half of the back and through the neck. And the last one. And then back to the centre. Slowly lower that head. Hands to the side. We're just going to take a deep breath in. So as we're breathing in, raise the arms towards the ceiling, take your gaze towards your fingertips, and exhale. Lower those arms. Let's go again. Deep breath in. Raising those arms up. And exhale. And we're done. We've done just over 45 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you. That was great.
Yeah, is that okay? I know we've gone back